to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back. It is Saturday morning, and I am once again tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And the podcast today, it's going to be just like any of my other podcasts. It's going to be kind of all over the place. I every now and then I go through these phases where I really just get sick of the news. I get sick of the political news. I get sick of Second Amendment news. I just get sick of all of it. And I just want to get back to the reason why I enjoy shooting, while I enjoy firearms. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. The guns, the ammo, the training, my thoughts on different things, reloading, whatever. I just want to have a good time. And back in the day when our lives weren't quite as busy and I was a little bit younger, and I had a bunch of friends that would come over and they'd sit around and we'd do these podcasts, and we would just tear it up. We'd have a great time talking about just funny stories and opinions on firearms, and we were always arguing and giving each other a hard time and having a great time, and I would like to get back to that sometime. But we have gotten older, families have gotten older, kids have gotten older, work has gotten in the way, and so you are stuck with me, and I hope that is enough, because it is really hard it's really hard to round people up, especially when doing this podcast. It doesn't generate me any money, which is fine. Like, I don't make a dime doing this. And so when people do come and join me, they have to come join me out of just because they're feeling friendly and they want to come and give of their time. I don't pay them. Guests don't get paid. It is just me. But I do have some guests lined up probably for the next coming up in the next couple months. So it'll be fun to get them in here and talk to them about some different things when it comes to shooting and firearms and women in firearms and empowerment and all that good stuff. So you can look forward to that coming up. And I've got a little list here. Let me pull out my little list and trying to stay, somewhat organized. Where's it at here? Just kind of made it this morning real quick. If you follow us on social media, which you should do, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I've been putting up some different videos, and I've talked about it in the past couple of videos. There was a gentleman, a listener, a student of mine by the name of Jeff, and he, out of the kindness of his heart, he donated his time, efforts, and energy and his skills, and he built us a Texas Star. Now, I know people, I'm so tired of hearing about this Texas Star. This Texas Star is cool. It is fun to shoot at, and it is a great addition to the range, and I just want to tell Jeff thank you. He brought it out. We put it together. It is completed. I've used it in a couple classes, and it is a ton of fun. I put some cool slow motion videos up. I don't know why I'm digging slow-mo videos lately, but I am. Slow motion makes everything cooler. But I had it out, and we were shooting at it the other night in the women's group, and it was a challenge. I mean, it's definitely a challenge, and your fundamentals have to be dialed in to be able to shoot it correctly and quickly. And so it was a challenge for a lot of people, and most of the class, they got real close, but they didn't get it done. A couple of the women, they actually, they got it cleared. It took them some time, but they got it cleared. So, it's a step in the right direction. So that was a lot of fun. And, I got an update on the hunting with High Point. So I took it out and I've started shooting the thing. I mounted the scope on it. The pictures are on social media. You can check it out there. Put the scope on it, and it is ridiculous, and it weighs every bit of 4+ pounds. I mean, no questions about it. The thing is super heavy, and I am shooting it off of my my bipod, and it's a smidge shaky, but it's not horrible. And I'm not saying that the scope that is mounted to it is perfect. I mean, I think that it's not exact. It probably moves just a little bit. I've got the scope turned about as much as it'll possibly turn, dialed in as much as it'll go. In fact, I can't crank it anymore. At 50 yards, I can you can go check out the pictures, but at 50 yards, I can keep it into a grouping about the size of like a milk jug. So, I mean, I think I'm good. I'm more confident at probably, closer to 30 to 40 yards. But I think at 50 yards, it is doable. Now my goal is to find a deer and see if I can get close enough with this thing to take the shot. It's kind of ridiculous. Now, let's talk about shooting this thing. So high point, here's what I'm going to say about high point. Are they ugly? Yep. Are they big? Yep. Do they go bang when you press the trigger? Yep. Do they have the best trigger on the planet? Nope, not by any means. They are lacking in the trigger department. We all know that, and I knew what I was getting into. But the gun fires every time I press the trigger. I will give it that. And the warranty that they offer is absolutely fantastic. And is it a good firearm for someone who is very financially limited that still wants a firearm to be able to defend themselves and their family? Yep, it sure is. It's going to do the job, right? I mean, that 10 millimeter or that 9 millimeter or that 40 or that 45, right? That bullet doesn't know what gun that it's leaving from. It's still going to do its thing. It's still going to go a certain speed. It's still going to connect. It's going to cause damage. It's going to stop someone. It's still going to make a hole in the paper. It's still going to hit the target. It doesn't care what tool or what firearm it leaves from. It's dead set on it. It's just going to perform the same out of a high point as it would a Glock or a Smith & Wesson or a HK or Springfield Armory or whatever. It doesn't know. So for a person on a limited budget, this is a perfectly affordable firearm. You could get it and you could use it to defend yourself and your family. And I mean, I'm sure they have in the past. Now let's talk about this gun. So I said the trigger is not great. Okay. It's not horrible, but it ain't great. Now, I have added a bunch of weight to this thing. Now, not to the slide necessarily, but to the gun. So you add all that weight and you get this gun now that it's a heavy gun to begin with. But now the recoil impulse is just a little bit different. And as I'm shooting this thing off the bipod because it's too heavy to do anything else, I am finding that the recoil impulse is different. Now, it doesn't hit so hard it hurts. It's not miserable shooting. I think the gun actually moves more, and I did put some slow-mo videos up. You can check those out. But what I have found is I shot through about 1.5 boxes of ammo. So I probably shot 60, 70 rounds through it the other day, just kind of getting used to it. And surprisingly enough, when you start shooting these, they actually loosen up really quick. But I shot it quite a bit with the scope mount, with all that stuff. Now, the scope mount, I actually had to do some filing on to get it to fit correctly, so it ain't perfect. But the gun weighs a bunch, and so that is going to do what? That's going to change that recoil impulse. So when I'm firing it, and I fired it 50, 60, 70 times, I noticed that my trigger finger, it wasn't biting it. I don't know what was happening, but I kept racking my trigger finger somehow in there. And to this day, and this was like a week ago, but as soon as I got done shooting, I couldn't feel from my first knuckle, the first joint on my finger, to the fingertip of my trigger finger on my right hand was just tingling and pretty much numb. And it stayed that way for about 3 days. And now I'm like examining my finger as I talk here. Now the lower part of the fingertip, the part that would be at the bottom of the trigger when I press the trigger, it is still numb. In fact, I can touch it and I can barely feel myself touching it. There's a little patch of my finger that is still numb and tingly from shooting this thing. And it's been over a week. So I find that very, very interesting. Again, I think it's because I added all the weight to that gun, and it's just the recoil impulse is just a lot different. And when the gun comes back, when you fire the gun and it recoils up and back, I've got this scope on top of it now, and I think all that weight lends to pulling it so it's more flippy, if that makes any sense. It kind of flips back more, and I think that's just been slamming into my trigger finger. So my trigger finger is it was pretty numb for quite a while. I was actually starting to get just a little concerned. So in this setup, I don't recommend myself, because no one else is doing what I'm doing. I don't recommend myself as shooting this like 50 rounds worth all at once. Now, can I go out and shoot a deer or an animal with it? Yeah, I definitely can. But shooting it repeatedly like that was not an enjoyable endeavor. So that's kind of where we set on that. And hunting season starts in a week or so, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. And hopefully, I'll get some video of that, and we will see how that progresses. Now, I did, all this started because of a phone call that I received on my radio show about a month and a half ago. A guy talking about handgun hunting. And I had my radio show yesterday, and the same guy called back, and he goes, "Hey, I've been listening. I see what Todd's doing." And, he's like, "Give me a call. Give me a call. Reach out to me after the show. I want to talk to you about handgun hunting." So I did. I gave this gentleman a call. And he is a longtime handgun hunter. Now, I've always known that handgun hunting was a thing, right? But I guess it just never registered as something maybe I wanted to do, right? And he was telling me about some awesome stuff that they do with handguns in this unique niche, world, this group of people that go out and do this. So I'm pretty excited, actually. And am I going to continue this? We'll see how this year goes, right? Am I going to continue this with the High Point? Probably not. I think there's a lot better choices out there for firearms when it comes to hunting as far as handguns are concerned. But I am really, I got some time this winter. I'm really thinking about, I do like to hunt. I do like to big game hunt and whatnot. And what's the next challenge? I'm not saying I'm a fantastic shot with my rifle. I can kill a deer with my rifle. I got no problem doing that. But what about handgun hunting? What about getting a big revolver, a big 44 mag, a big 41 mag, something, right? And and setting it up to hunt with. I'm really considering this. Maybe this is my next step into the direction of hunting. I think this could be a thing for me. I like handguns a lot. And I've got the fundamentals dialed in pretty well. I mean, I'm not trying to brag on myself a little bit, but I'm pretty good at the trigger press. My fundamentals I think are pretty solid. I might delve into this handgun hunting world. This seems I think I can get into this. So now I got to look for myself. I got to figure out what I want to do. I'm thinking maybe something along the 44 mag lines. I got to find myself the right revolver. Got to figure out an optic. I got to get out. I got to practice because, Dan, this would be absolutely amazing to do. So I'm going to get through this year with the High Point. Hopefully I'll harvest something, and then I will get into another firearm, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. Kind of my newest next adventure. Okay. I have a listener that, and I have a bunch of listeners, but occasionally I have a listener, and I always tell you guys, call me, text me. My number is area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. And I tell everyone who listens to if you want to reach out and say hi, introduce yourself, ask a question, tell a story, just, whatever, let me know who you are and where you're listening from. I'm always open to that. My phone's in my pocket all the time. It's with me right now. Literally, I wake up, because it's the way I do business, right? I wake up in the morning, change my clothes, reach down, grab my phone, carry it downstairs while I'm eating breakfast. From that point, it's with me the entire day. And there's a listener, I've been talking with him for probably the last couple months. He is out of Texas, and he is actually going to his first competition today, and it's not necessarily In fact, he'd have to let me know. I can't remember exactly what kind of competition he said it was. Now, he's probably going to hear this after the fact, but he's been practicing. He sent me his dry fire setup. For the last couple of weeks, he's been practicing every day, and he's going to go with his buddies, and he's going to go out and compete and have a good time. And I think that's phenomenal. So I wish him and his buddies the best of luck. I know he's in pretty deep competition with one of his friends, and they've been sending each other trash talking videos back and forth all week. So he's kind of shared some of those with me. So it'll be fun, and I wish him the best. And I tell you what, if you like to shoot, and that is your thing, right? Get out and find a little competition. Go to a competition if that's your thing, if you like to compete. Just get out and shoot and practice those fundamentals. And I will tell you this is something I've seen a lot in the last couple of weeks. As I have my women's groups and my men's group, and they're shooting at the Texas Stars, they're shooting at different challenges I have, right, where it's you get so many shots. When you are firing, and I mentioned this before, but I just want to reiterate it. When you are shooting, and if for some reason you're shooting and you miss a shot, let it go. Don't focus on it. I had the women in my women's group, man, they're all cussing. I mean, I heard the F-bombs. I heard all kinds of stuff happening when they were shooting at the Star the other night. You got to let it go. If you miss, you got to let it go. Let it go. Don't even verbally admit to it, right? Let it go. Concentrate on your next shot. Focus on your next shot. Because what happens is if you take that shot and you miss, and you're like, oh, blankety blank, I missed that shot. Then that is just gonna float over and affect your next shot and your next shot and your next shot. Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna try harder. You're gonna smash that trigger. You're gonna try and throw that bullet, and it's just not gonna work out well. So you need to let it go. You've taken it. It is gone. You can't get it back. Focus on your next shot. Don't let that, like the cascade effect or the waterfall effect. Don't let it affect all the other shots, because it can really ruin your go around. It can ruin your string of shots. Just let it go, man. I feel like I'm going to bust into a Disney, Frozen song here. Just let it go. You have to let it go. What else do we got here that I've got on my list here? So, I had an interesting situation actually in the men's group a couple weeks ago. There was and maybe I don't think I talked about this yet, but there's a gentleman whose gun came apart. It came apart in class. He was shooting what he called, the ammo brand was Norma. It was Norma ammo. And once again, maybe I've talked about this already on here. And if I have, it's not a big deal to me because this is just a safety concern. We got to throw it out there that this gentleman, when he was shooting that, he must have come across, I feel bad for him, he must have come across a double charge round or something from the factory, and it blew his gun to pieces. It was 9mm Norma ammo. I put all the pictures and everything on my Facebook page, on my Instagram, so you can check that out. He was shooting a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 compact. Great little gun, brand new when he started, pretty new when he started class. Zero problems with the ammo or with the gun. And I was down the range and I heard a big bang, bang, boom. And I looked down and he's shaking his hands and his gun's on the table and it's in pieces. Like we found pieces of that gun 15, 20 feet away. It blew out the bottom of his magazine. It cracked the slide. It blew a big chunk off of the frame. The part of the casing was stuck in the barrel. The back was all blown out of it. We still haven't found his magazine spring. So we need to focus on being safe when we're shooting. And he was being safe. You need to focus on wearing your PPE, wearing the eyes, your eye protection, and your ear protection, right? He was able to he was wearing his eye protection. He took off his glasses, and you could see a mark right in the center of one of the lenses where if he had not had his glasses on, he would have a piece of metal in his eye. Either it could have blinded him at this point, right? So we have to focus on that. Scary. That's Norma ammo, and they've had a history of this. And in the area, I've heard of another gun. That guy was shooting Norma ammo, and the same thing happened. So it's I see lots and lots of ammo seems to be doing this as of late. I see it with duds when it comes to like 22 rounds and people having trouble with that, and some 9mm rounds, and I'm sure there's some stuff going on with the rifle as well. I just don't shoot rifle enough to know or even care. But I think what has happened is in the last ammo crunch, they started mass producing this stuff to keep up with demand, which they barely did, and I think the quality control just went to crap. Because I'm starting to see this more and more. But here's the thing: wear your PPE, wear your eye pro, your ear pro, and be safe. I mean, I was shooting at still targets the other day, and I had my eye protection on. And when you shoot still targets, you get what we call frag. It's not a full-on ricochet, but what it is it's little chunks of ammo, or little chunks and pieces or fragments of the bullet, right? Sometimes they will fly around, and you got to wear your eye pro when you're shooting still, because I actually caught a piece in my cheek right below my glasses. And, it stings, it hurts a little bit, but, it is what it is. But had that been up a little higher, and had I not been wearing my glasses, then I would have had big problems. And that's one thing, too, you want to remember. When you're wearing your eye protection, you need to make sure it is impact resistance rated. And you can get, I'll be honest with you, there's a good portion of your higher quality type sunglasses and stuff, they are impact resistant rated. You need to look it up, find out, and check it out. But they typically don't put stuff up by your eyes that is going to shatter and get into your eyes. That's not really a thing anymore. But double check and make sure what you're using is rated for impact resistance, because you don't get another eye typically. Well, maybe you can. I mean, there's marvels in modern medicine, marvels of modern medicine. Maybe you could get a new eye, but you don't want to have to do that. If you can protect yourself, let's protect yourself. Wear the right gear. That's super important. I get folks, friends of mine, folks that listen to the podcast, listen to the radio show, follow me on social media. They send me articles and they send me stuff all the time. And there was Magnum sent one because he knows I like HK, and I actually posted this up on the Facebook page. H&K, hopefully, and they're supposed to do it in the fourth quarter, so that is pretty much now or nearing the fourth quarter of this year. They have come up with their first micro compact 9mm. They call it the SFP9CC. And pretty much if you look at it, it just looks like a really small version of the VP9. It's a striker-fired firearm. And then they bring that out to compete with the SIG P365 or the Springfield Hellcat, right? And now I would imagine it's going to compete with try and compete with like the Shield Plus, Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, and that kind of stuff. Are they a little late to the game? I think they are. I think they're a little late to the party. I think there's a handful of people out there that like HK, and they're good quality firearms. I think, when it comes to handguns at least. But I don't think they have quite the backing as like Smith & Wesson or SIG or anything like that. I don't see a lot of HKs come through glass. I love them, and I have them, and I'll run them. I have no problems with them. I don't think they're going to take the market share by storm. I don't think they're, it'll be out there competing, but it's not like they're going to beat out the SIG or anything like that. Now, the Hellcat, yeah, it's probably better than the Hellcat. But I don't think they're going to beat out the 365. That really has a pretty good market share, a hold on the market. Great firearm, that little SIG P365 is. But I'm really excited for this. I'm an H&K guy, and I will probably end up owning one of these. Now, it's a micro compact. I don't have the. Let's see. I'm reading here. It says the user can buy one gun and then swap frame, slides, and grip panels. So they're going to have two. It's going to have a modular chassis, meaning that the fire control unit will bear the serial number. The operator can swap frames, slides without having to buy another gun. The end user can buy one gun and swap frames, slides, and grip panels. At the launch, the slides available will be optics ready and iron sights only version, so you can get two versions of that. The two launch frames will both be sized to fit flush with 10+1 round 9mm magazines, but one will have a Picatinny rail and the one will not. There will also be 6 back straps to choose from: small, medium, large, in beaver tail and non-beaver tail configurations, which I think when you start getting into a micro compact, I think that a nice, good beaver tail, at least for me, because I have large hands, I think that is a must. They're saying it's one of the most exciting pistols to come from HK in a long time. HK doesn't always release a bunch of stuff every year. They're kind of their own little company, and they're kind of snooty, and it is what it is, but I'm excited to see this gun, and I will probably end up owning one. I do run and carry an HK P30 right now, but I do love my VP9 still, and I have 2 of those, and I could see me getting this, putting a little dot on it, and I could see this as being, depending on how big it is, I could see this as being the gun that I carry when I go running. Any guns where I might need a little deeper concealment. This could be a thing for me. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting my hands on one, and I think as soon as I can find one, I think I'll probably purchase it. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Let me know what you think. You can find that. I posted that up on Facebook, and quite a few people have responded to it. So get on there, let me know your thoughts and feelings. And I do know that someone commented and said, well, these micro subcompact micro guns are not for me. And they're not for me either. I have large hands. I carry large guns. But for certain situations and certain places I go, and certain instances such as jogging or running, a little micro 9 would be phenomenal. Right now, when I go, I take my little Keltec P3AT 380, and it works. It's small, and I'm sure it's not going to be, it's actually going to be smaller than this gun, but I'm really curious about this little gun, and like I said, I'll end up owning it, and then I can give you guys a proper review, proper range report on it. So I still have not gotten a holster for my P30. Now, there is a local company. They are getting me one. They have made one, and they are just kind of fine-tuning it, and I'll give you a report on that as well. But I always like to have multiple holsters for multiple guns, or multiple holsters for my guns, right? Options. It's all about options. And I ordered one a while back. Actually, I ordered one last week because it's something I've been mulling over for quite a little while. And one of the reasons I ordered it is because it could go very, very, very custom. And I ordered a holster from a place called Grayman Solutions out of Oklahoma. And it is coming. It is on the way. They said it would be a 3-week waiting period. They shipped it out in 3 days, mind you. Now, this is what I ordered. If you get on their website, they actually have pretty good Instagram as well. You can get on there, look up Grayman Solutions, and I got the one called the Shadow. Now, it is, where's it at here? View my order. It is actually one of those holsters that has the little sidecar, right? It's an appendix carry holster. It's got a little sidecar on it. And what I thought was really cool about this is, I could obviously choose my own colors and whatnot, and that's pretty cool always. But they have it extra customized where I could send them my logo, and they could actually somehow, I don't know if they print it or what they do, but they could put my logo on the Kydex holster, which is cool. And so I have got it's kind of a red looking colored Kydex with a black back. It's got the sidecar on it, and it's going to have my logo on it, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to look and see if I made a bad choice on color or what. But it'll be coming. I'll have that one. I'll get the one from the local guy here when they finish it up, and I'll be checking that out, sporting both of those, and I'll give you guys reports on both of those. I spent quite a little bit of money on this holster, but I have a history of doing so. Just ask me about my first VP9 holster. I overspend on holsters. I just tend to do that. So I spent quite a bit more just to get it super customized with my logo on it, just because why not, right? Why not? So when it gets here, I'll tell you guys all about that. And I'm looking at my notes here. I'm just kind of rambling today, but that's cool. That's okay. I want to clarify this, and for those of you who listen all the time, everyone knows how I feel about the NRA. Everyone gets that. And it's interesting because we've had some stuff going on at the radio station as of late with even local competitors. We've had there's been some, there's competition out there right now, right? The prices on things are going up, and everyone's struggling a little bit, and that's when the competition usually gets a little tighter. Now, I obviously don't do a gun store. I just do training, and I do this podcast, what I said, which makes me $0. I do it because I enjoy it. But when I do my radio show, it's open up for, the podcast is open up to anyone, but this is local radio, like on the AM station. And so people can listen. And I know the competitors, listen in because we're talking to everyone, right? And I've had some competitors that are not very happy with me. They have a gun store. They're trying to do some training as well. They've said stuff, done stuff in the past. It started off as they have a gun store. They wanted to do their own training classes, and they called me up and said, "This is because training is what I do. It's all I do. I own my own range," and they called me up and wanted to lease my range for their classes. This was a couple last year. I think it was about last year, and I was like, "Are you freaking ridiculous? Are you serious? You want to lease my range for your classes?" Yeah. No, that's not going to work. That's like me asking if I can lease your gun counter because I want to start selling guns. That you'd laugh at me. You'd call me dumb. You used to think that was absolutely ridiculous and be appalled that I even asked that. It's the same way, folks. This is the way I feed my family. So it's like, as my competition, don't come and ask to lease my range. Are you serious? I mean, my range in my classroom, that is my business. I mean, I've built that. I went out with a shovel and I maintain that, and my classroom, and you're not using any of it. It's just not happening. And so they were a little irritated at that point. That happened last year, and it's just kind of been ongoing. And to the point of where, I actually write my own ads for the radio show, for my radio show. And one of the ads I wrote talked about how, hey, look, this is a one-stop shop here. It's a one-stop shop. I've got my range here. I've got my classroom here. In fact, I tell you what, if I can pull this up, I will play it for you because I do have it. Now, let me find it. I'll play you the ad. I can't find it, obviously. You guys, I don't have anyone. It's just me here to fill the void here as I try and look this up. And we'll do this real quick. Where is it at? Dead air. We don't want that dead air. Let me turn my Bluetooth on. Watch someone try and call me now while I do this. So, okay. So here is, I'm going to play this. Hopefully it comes through. This is my new ad, and I think they are a little irritated by it. Let me play it here. Come on, pull up. Are you kidding me? It doesn't want to play, folks. It does not want to play. Maybe it's been removed. I don't know. We'll check here. Check this and try this. Here we go.
You gave up a whole Saturday for your enhanced permit class. You arrive at the location just to find out that now you have the inconvenience of also having to drive to the range. Here at Patriot Defense, we want to make your permit class as convenient as possible. We are your one-stop shop for all your enhanced permit class needs. Our range is located just steps away from our classroom. No extra driving for you. We value your time. So check us out for all your permit class and private firearm instruction needs at info@patriotdefense13.com. That's info@patriotdefense13.com. You gave up a whole Saturday.
Well, you almost heard that double there for a minute. So that was my ad, and I think that irritated them a little bit because what they have a setup where they have you come to their location, their store, and they do the class portion. Then they ship you out to a place called Jerome. It's about 20 or 30 minutes away for the range portion of it when they do their permit classes. And not me, I'm right here, and I just pointed that out. I didn't call them out. Didn't call them out at all. But I think they took, well, I kind of did without saying their name. I think they took it personal because during my radio show the other day, I had a guy call in. I said, hey, Todd, I got a question for Todd. He called in. He was very direct. I mean, he was on a mission, and it sounded like he had his question actually written out. And he goes, "Hey, Todd, I've got a business card here. I got it from one of your competitors. It says on here that you're an NRA certified instructor." And I was like, "Yes, sir, I am an NRA certified instructor." And he goes, "Well, it's funny because you're an NRA certified instructor, yet all you do is talk crap and trash on the NRA ever since I've started listening to the show." And then he was done. That was his statement or question. So I responded, and I'm going to respond to you because here's the thing. NRA has done good stuff in the past. I mean, they really have. And they do some good things still. But they have gotten so, the greed, the money, right? They didn't show up. They don't show up for you anymore. It's all about the money. It's all about the greed. It's all about compromise. They compromise with the left. Now, when I first came out and I started pointing all this stuff and I started trashing the NRA, there was a lot of people that disagreed with me. And I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. But as the years progressed, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And these old guys that would come in, these older gentlemen that were lifetime members, used to question me and my NRA thing. Right now, they're like, yeah, we don't do the NRA anymore either. They're garbage, they're crap. We give the GOA or whatever it might be. So the question was, if I trash the NRA, why am I NRA certified instructor? Because I have to be. For me to do this job, here's the thing. You better not be. You better focus on yourself and look at what you're doing and pay attention to the classes that you take, because no one should be out there taking classes from someone who isn't a certified instructor. That's just not the way to do it. Go out, get a little street cred. Your instructor needs to go out. They need to be educated. They need to know what they're doing. And so for me to be able to offer the Idaho Enhanced Permit class and just have credibility as an instructor, I have to take what they call continuing education. And part of that is I am required to be an NRA certified instructor. And do I want to be an NRA certified instructor? I do not. I do not want to give the NRA any of my money ever. I am not a member of the NRA. I don't have to be an instructor. Now, if they started requiring that, I would probably just have to jump through that hoop as well. I don't like to be involved with the NRA. I do not want to be an NRA certified instructor, but I have to be. Now, I can go be a different instructor. I can go be certified through like the USCCA. The USCCA wants like $600 or $700, which is absolutely ridiculous, right? Ridiculous to go and pay to be an instructor, to be certified as an instructor. Not only that, then you have to teach their criteria, and you have to buy your paperwork and all your class programs and all PowerPoints and everything from the USCCA, and you have to teach so many students their classes every year to remain certified. Absolutely freaking ridiculous. I'm not buying into a cult. I just left a cult. I'm not buying into another one. And so I will never do the USCCA thing. I don't like to do the NRA thing, but it's a lot less money, and I'm a certified instructor, and it is what it is. I do what I have to do. I don't like paying taxes, but I have to do it, right? There's a lot of things I don't like to do that I absolutely have to do. So it's just ridiculous. So there you go. Like, if my competition is listening to this, that's why. That is why. And I'll be straight up honest with you. So you know what? Take your trolls. Just do whatever you want with your trolls. But it's ridiculous that you're having them try and like rip me apart. Maybe I don't know. It's not the first time that I've had someone call in and do that, but I'm pretty sure this is directly related to my competition. It just, even the host of the radio show, when we went to our next break after that call, he looked at me and he's like, "Yeah, that was some of your competition, I think." And I was like, "Yeah, I think it was too." So I tell you what, do better, man. Do better. I enjoy a little competition, right? It makes me a better instructor. It makes me a better business owner. You know what? If you're struggling, do better. Do better. Teach better. Do better. Do something, right? That's the way I say it. Just do better. It'll make you better. It makes me better. It makes everyone better. Focus on that. So That's my rant on the NRA for the day, the rant on my competition for the day. And I'm looking here to see what I might have missed. I will say that also that winter is coming, and that's Todd's time to reload. I didn't do a lot of reloading last year, but it is coming here. Like we're having us a nice, cool 50-degree rainy weekend this weekend, and which is kind of a nice change. And I've been getting my brass out. I've been getting my reloading stuff out. I went and bought a couple thousand primers the other day, which is no small investment. But for the same money that I spent on the primers, the 2,000 primers, I could have bought 1,000 rounds of 9mm, but I have a bunch of powder. I got unlimited brass. I got a ton of lead. So, I mean, all in all, I think this works out better for me in the end. It's time to crank out a bunch more ammo this winter, and it might be actually time to clean my firearms, because I actually have a few firearms that are starting to show signs of giving me some hiccups. So when that happens, it's time to clean. I literally need to go buy a big vat. I need to fill it up with a bunch of solvent, gun cleaning solvent, and I need to just drop my gun parts in there and just let them soak, because that's probably what it's going to take. Also this year, and I will talk to you about it once I delve into it, but I think I'm going to, I cast my own bullets, and I also powder coat my bullets. And I think I'm going to revamp the way I apply my powder coating. There's a thing called tumbling. A lot of people do. It's been around for a long time. It's nothing new. Never really have gotten into the tumbling aspect of it. I just spray it on. But I may start to tumble, and I may try that out and see if that's a more efficient way of doing it. And give that a whirl. So there you go. And I still have 3 years worth of brass outside. I got a lot I got to do. So, and I got to figure out some dirt. Is there anyone local listening? I need dirt. I need clean, rock-free dirt. Not just like flour. No, I don't need powder. I need some dirt, man. Some good topsoil, something to put on my range. It's time to build my range back up. Every couple of years, I got to do this. It's time to add some dirt. I'm not looking for someone to put the dirt on. I need to get some dirt here and dumped in a pile, and I'm going to rely on me this year to get the dirt where it needs to be, whether I got to rent some heavy equipment or whatever I have to do. I'm going to try to make it happen. So I'm looking forward to getting that done. But I am out of here. Actually, I got to go inside and get ready. I got to wake up my 9-year-old, get him rolling. He has started some martial arts. Just something. He's doing online schooling this year, so we got to do something to kind of keep him active. And he's got his first tournament, and I've never been to one of these, and he's young enough and he's new enough that I don't think he's sparring or actually like fighting. I think it's like tournaments with form and whatnot. So I got to take him out there and support him in that today. And so I kind of look forward to that. And then my running training, I took a month off of running. My training will start again, I think tomorrow. So big plans for spring. I got to work toward that. In fact, that might be another podcast. I might actually fire up my running podcast again for that, so I can separate the two. The guys who like the guns, they don't want to hear about me talking about my stupid running. You guys just want to hear all about firearms. So I tell you what, if you got any questions or comments or stories for me, you can always hit me up. You can call me. You can text me, area code 620-794-6223. It's area code 620-794-6223. Follow us on all the social media, the Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok. Find our YouTube channel. Like our YouTube channel. There's not a lot of videos up there. There's a few. You get the audio from the podcast. You can find that there as well. I need to put more YouTube videos up. I'm just not really good at videoing stuff. I tell myself I need to be. Tell myself I'm going to, but it just doesn't happen. So I tell you what, whatever you're doing this weekend, be safe, have a good time, get out and shoot. For my listener who is going to his first competition today, good luck, shoot straight. Remember your trigger press. Focus on those fundamentals. If you miss, focus on the next shot. Don't let it get in your don't let it get in your head. Just move on, carry on. Good luck. I want a good report of that. Maybe we'll get you on the podcast. You can give us a report of what happened there. So everyone have a great weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.